Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting.
Hey there. So today we're doing a high-speed run through X, hitting 12 key posts that are really driving the conversation right now.
Yeah, we're talking markets, disruptive tech, global stuff, the whole mix.
Our mission, cut through the noise, give you the core insight. We've got 12 posts lined up.
Exactly. Signal, not static. We'll keep it fast, sharp, but get right to the takeaway. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it. Vibe check 1, career and global finance. First up, at Sahil Bloom on career advice.
Okay. Sahil writes, career advice everyone needs to hear. Link. What's the kernel here?
The real takeaway, especially for folks early in their careers, is this idea of resourcefulness.
Resourcefulness. Okay.
Yeah, it's about building that reputation, being the person who gets handed something totally unfamiliar, figures it out, asks the right questions, and just gets it done. Self-directed effort.
So it's less about knowing everything up front, more about your ability to learn and execute on the fly.
Precisely. And this isn't just like feel-good advice. There's data. Studies show employers are really prioritizing problem-solving, adaptability, people who can innovate.
Makes sense. In this kind of economy, being resourceful is maybe the only constant you can rely on.
Exactly. Now, switching gears completely, from personal skills to global markets kind of falling apart, let's look at Chamath. He's sounding a pretty loud alarm on the UK.
Right, he posts. Yet another example of the decay in the UK. A dysfunctional capital markets married to increasing regulation offers nothing to business owners. Without growing businesses, there can be no thriving economy. This is America's moment to cement its place as the singular, and it cuts off there.
Yeah, but the message is clear. And while the data behind this is pretty stark, he's reacting to news that London, get this, has fallen out of the top 20 global IPO markets.
Wait, out of the top 20? Seriously, who overtook them?
Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah. And it seems to be driven by, well, friction, regulatory friction. UK IPO fundraising basically hit rock bottom recently, a 3-decade low, only $160 million in early 2025.
And the finger's pointing at post-Brexit rules.
Seems like it. Specifically MiFID II. That's the big, complex EU financial services directive. Post-Brexit, it just became this heavier regulatory weight for UK listings.
So, complex rules push capital away if it finds an easier path.
That's the argument, and that's why Chamath sees this as America's moment, right? The U.S. hosted almost half, 48% of global IPOs last year. Capital just flows away from that kind of friction.
Which is a perfect lead-in to Vibe Check 2, the tech titans. If capital's fleeing complexity, where is it concentrating? Let's start with NVIDIA. At Cobase Letter posted something mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah.
They write, breaking. NVIDIA, NVDA, extends run into record territory and officially becomes the first company in history to hit $4.5 trillion in market cap. Link.
4.5 trillion. It's just a staggering number. But the really interesting part is the comparison.
The comparison.
NVIDIA's market cap, at $4.5 trillion, it now officially surpasses the entire crypto market, the whole thing, which is sitting around, what, $3.8 trillion?
Okay, wow. That puts things in perspective. A single tech company with actual hardware versus the entire digital asset space.
Right. It really highlights this perceived difference, stability versus volatility. NVIDIA makes stuff, AI chips, gaming GPUs, data center hardware. It's tangible. Meanwhile, crypto, well, we know the volatility. One study showed 80% of altcoins basically crater after launch. Investors seem to be voting for, actual utility and maybe some centralized stability.
Okay, let's stick with AI infrastructure, but shift to Vercel. The CEO at Rothschild announced big news.
Huge news.
He writes, announcing at Vercel's Series F to build the AI Cloud Link.
Yeah, they pulled in $300 million, Series F, and it tripled their valuation to $9.3 billion. You're clearly making a massive play for this AI cloud space. And they already have huge clients like OpenAI itself.
Big money, big clients. But this announcement wasn't just smooth sailing, was it? It blew up almost immediately.
Not at all. It got complicated, fast, geopolitically complicated. The image attached to the announcement, it showed the CEO, Guillermo Rauch, with Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu.
Oh, tying.
Terrible timing.
Aye.
Right after a UN inquiry had used some very strong language about actions in Gaza, the backlash was instant, intense, calls for boycotts.
So it shows how quickly politics can just swamp a major corporate announcement these days, especially on social media.
Absolutely. You can't easily separate the tech from the global context anymore. Okay, let's shift from software controversy to a hardware leak. Apple this time via @MarkGurman.
Oh, this was wild. Gurman posts. Wild. The upcoming M5 iPad Pro gets a full unboxing and hands-on before being announced by Apple in Russian. As expected, looks the same. Link.
Yeah, a full unboxing video in Russian weeks before the official October launch. That points to a pretty significant slip-up in Apple's supply chain security. Usually they're like Fort Knox.
Right. So, security issue aside, what did the leak tell us about the actual iPad? Any major changes? New look?
Nope. Looks the same, as Gurman noted. The benchmarks pulled from the video show the M5 chip is, well, it's an incremental upgrade.
How incremental?
We're talking maybe 12–15% faster CPU, somewhere between 8–35% faster GPU compared to the M4. It seems focused on, like, better power efficiency for creative work, not a big hardware overhaul.
So manage expectations if you were hoping for a redesign. Got it. Let's move over to Google and AI image generation. There's a leak reported by @Kimenismus or Chibier.
Right, about Nano Banana 2.
Yeah, the post reads, major Google leaks Nano Banana 2 will be published in the second week of November. It is based on Gemini 3 Pro. Overall, much improved in quality. Nano Banana 1 was already a huge hit. It catapulted Google to the top of the charts. Nano Banana 2 will probably take it too. Cuts off again.
Okay, so Nano Banana 2, which was a big hit for Google, is delayed, pushed to mid-November, but there's a reason.
They're upgrading the engine.
Exactly. They're integrating Gemini 3 Pro, which is supposed to be significantly more powerful. They're using the extra time to fix some key weaknesses from the first version.
Like, what are they trying to improve?
Two big things, apparently. Text accuracy in the images. You know how AI struggles with text. They want to nail that. And also just scaling up the resolution from 2K to 4K output, trying to really cement their lead in image quality.
Okay, makes sense. All right, final segment. Vibe Check 3, Crypto, Policy, and Culture. Kicking off back in crypto with Tether at Watcher Guru reports something interesting.
Yeah, pretty interesting move.
They write, just odd an N, USDT issuer Tether buys 8,888 Bitcoin worth $1 billion in Q3 2025. Link.
So Tether, the stablecoin issuer, their whole deal is being pegged to the US dollar, backed by fiat reserves, right? Stable.
Right.
Now they're taking $1 billion and buying Bitcoin, which is, famously not stable.
Doesn't that kind of mess with the whole stablecoin idea?
Well, it definitely introduces attention, doesn't it? Bitcoin supply is fixed 21 million coins, period. That's the opposite of a fiat currency peg. So by buying this much Bitcoin, they're signaling huge confidence in its long-term value, sure. But yeah, it adds this layer of complexity to their traditional model. How stable is your backing if a big chunk is volatile?
A philosophical question, almost. Okay, sticking with the Bitcoin leverage, let's talk Michael Saylor. @Saylor posted about dividends.
Ah, yes, Saylor doing Saylor things.
He writes, Strategy declared cash dividends on STRC payable October 31, 2025, and increased the STRC dividend rate by 25 BPs from 10.000% to 10.25%. 6TRC link.
So Strategy Inc., his company, is bumping up the dividend on its preferred stock to 10.25%. That's a pretty nice yield.
And it's a calculated move, presumably.
Oh, absolutely. It's designed to attract capital. And they can afford it because of their, enormous pile of Bitcoin.
Right. How much are they holding now?
Over 640,000 Bitcoin. At current prices, say $114,000 per Bitcoin. That's over $72 billion in value.
Oh.
So they're basically taking some of those unrealized crypto gains and turning them into traditional shareholder value, higher dividends to make the stock more attractive.
Clever. Okay, shifting from finance to healthcare policy. Mark Cuban weighed in. @McCuban posted about drug pricing.
Yeah, he had thoughts on the Trump RX initiative.
He says, I think it's all great for patients as long as they always use the lowest price available. That will be amazing for at-cost plus drugs and bring us more business. Our overhead and markups are lower than everyone else, so we are good. To the admin's credit, they have some greats. And it cuts off, assuming he means patient-focused elements.
Right. So he's giving some credit where it's due, praising the push for direct-to-consumer discounts, says it's good for patients. And, naturally, he mentions it's also good for his company, Cost Plus Drugs, because they thrive on price transparency.
But does he think it's like a revolutionary change?
Not really, it seems. While he acknowledges the patient focus, he kind of critiques its overall impact, his evidence. Pharmacy benefit manager stocks the PBMs, the middlemen. Their prices didn't really flinch.
Meaning the industry doesn't see it as a major threat to their profits.
Exactly. So maybe a small win for patients helps his business model, but not the big systemic overhaul some might have hoped for.
Got it. Okay, next up, the EV race in China. At Sawyer Merritt quotes Ford's CEO, Jim Farley. This is quite a statement.
You're right.
Farley says, Ford CEO Jim Farley in a new interview, the competitive reality is that the Chinese are the 700-pound gorilla in the EV industry. There's no real competition from Tesla, GM, or Ford with what we've seen from China. It is completely dominating the EV landscape globally and more, and cuts off.
A 700-pound gorilla. I mean, coming from Ford's CEO, that's a huge admission. He thinks Chinese companies like BYD, Xiaomi are just way ahead on in-vehicle tech, the smart features, the integration.
And the reason for that dominance, is it just innovation? Or?
Well, a big part of it is massive government support. Huge subsidies. Estimates are around $231 billion poured into the Chinese EV sector between 2009 and 2023.
Okay, that's a massive tailwind.
No question. But there's a counterpoint. Farley complains about tech like phone mirroring. Well, Tesla has had similar advanced tech standards since, like, 2019, so maybe it's a mix. Huge subsidies, yes, but maybe also overlooking some domestic innovation.
Interesting wrinkle. Okay, let's swing back to AI one more time. Video generation again. Adventure Twins posted some thoughts on Sora 2's direction.
Yeah, this is a really key strategic insight, I think.
They write, updated thoughts after the Sora 2 release. OpenAI is building a social network, like the OG Instagram, and not a content network like TikTok. They're letting users generate video memes starring themselves, their friends, and their pets. And it sounds like your feed will be incomplete.
So the big idea here is that OpenAI is deliberately pivoting Sora 2. They're moving away from just being a tool to generate generic AI videos, you know, the stuff that can quickly become AI slop and people get tired of it.
Right. So it's less about making mini movies and more about
Social connection, engagement. They're leaning hard into the Cameo feature, letting you put yourself, your friends, even your pets into these AI-generated video memes.
So making it personal, like early Instagram maybe?
Exactly like their comparison. The goal seems to be driving, sharing interaction, making it social and personal, not just another feed of endless impersonal content like TikTok can feel. It's a fascinating pivot.
Definitely one to watch.
Oh.
Okay, last post. Wrapping up with corporate culture, hiring philosophy.
From @ZizBinance.
BZ. Always provocative.
He writes, I never try to be equal, like, oh, I will try to hire more women. If you try that, you are unequal. I hire the best people. Just turns out 50% are female.
Yeah.
So he's championing pure meritocracy here, right? Setting it directly against diversity quotas or targeted hiring. His claim is focus only on hiring the best, and in his experience, it just happened to result in a 50-50 gender split, organically.
Without needing specific initiatives.
Yeah.
Is that claim verifiable? And does focusing only on best maybe ignore systemic issues that prevent some groups from even getting to the best pool in the first place, especially in crypto?
That's the core tension, isn't it? He's arguing that if you remove bias and just focus on competence, the results will be fair, even diverse. But critics would absolutely say that things like access to education, training, networks, they aren't merit neutral.
Right.
So without conscious effort, you might just perpetuate existing imbalances, even if you think you're being purely meritocratic. He's really challenging the method of achieving diversity, maybe more than the goal itself.
Lots to chew on there. Okay, that was a whirlwind tour. What a range today.
Seriously. We went from NVIDIA hitting $4.5 trillion bigger than all of crypto to the geopolitical heat around Vercel's AI funding.
To London falling out of the top IPO markets, capital shifting. Companies like Strategy using Bitcoin gains to pay dividends.
Yeah, and then AI pivots, EV competition, healthcare debates. It's a lot. But if you connect the dots...
What's the through line?
Maybe it's the sheer speed of disruption and how policy, tech, and capital are just colliding constantly. Decisions in one area ripple out immediately everywhere else, like capital fleeing the UK's regulations straight towards the US, or NVIDIA's perceived stability sucking value attention from crypto.
Which brings us all the way back to that first post from Sahil Bloom.
Resourcefulness.
Exactly. With everything shifting so fast.
Yeah.
Markets, tech, rules, you have to ask yourself, right? Is that kind of adaptability, that resourcefulness, is that the only truly essential trait you need to navigate this, to just survive, let alone succeed?
It's a powerful thought. How are you building that muscle, that ability to tackle problems you don't even see coming yet?
Something to ponder. Thanks our daily Vibecasting for today. Thanks for tuning in.
We'll catch you next time.